Hello, CQ. Hello, CQ. CQ, the Old Friends Net. It's time for the Tuesday edition of the Old Friends Get Together. This is W4MEC, your net control for today. And the Old Friends Net has been meeting for quite a few years, 21, 22. Right now on this frequency, 3715, 3 times a week. Today and Thursday at 9 a.m., 3715. Sundays at 6:30 p.m. currently, until we figure out what to do with the time change. And this net is carried out in the amplitude modulation mode only. And everyone is welcome to check in regardless of rig type, even though we prefer vintage gear. We'll accept some heartless, soulless black box hooked to a computer as long as it generates some AM. And this is a great place to look for gear, sell gear, look for bits and pieces, or bits and pieces of information to fix something, or just general information. So I'll make a list here with check-ins and get everybody seated around the table, and we will carry on from there. And so as soon as I retrieve the pen I dropped on the floor, for those wishing to participate in today's activities, please give W4MEC a call. Come now.
Good morning, Charlie. WA4LLR.
N4LQ.
KZ4 Bravo.
WB4ARK.
WB4NKL.
K4GD. K3OS.
KN4R.
W4KR.
November 4 Alpha Kilo N4AK.
W4VRO.
N4OZI.
K4JAL. K4VWD.
Okay, I had a double with K3OS. So who was the station that was trying to check in between WB4ARK, K3OS, and KN4R? That fellow there.
I'm showing NKL and GDN.
Okay, that was George. Okay. K4GDN. I thought it was, due to signal strength levels, and Gary covered them up. So this is what I got so far. Dave, WA4LLR, Steve, N4LQ, John, KZ4B, Buddy, WB4ARK, Cliff, WB4NKL, Gary, K3OS, George, K4GDN, Brian, KN4R, Stan, W4KR, Glenn, N4AK, Ray, W4VRO, Jimmy, K4JAL, and Lee, K4VWD. Who did I miss?
You missed OZI.
N4OZI, are you there?
Yeah, I'm in here.
Well, we're going to put you as tail end Charlie, because I didn't hear you, and you didn't comment, so so you're after Lee. Any further? All right, here's the list. LLR, LQ, 4B, ARK, NKL, OS, GDN, 4R, KR, AK, VRO, JAL, VWD, and OZI. So good morning, everybody. Good signals coming in here this morning on a 53-degree Hendersonville morning. Light puffy clouds out there, and everything's percolating along real good. Made it back from retrieving the wife in the RV from Myrtle Beach yesterday. Went down on Friday, and spent 3 days down there with her and 2 of the grandkids and the daughter-in-law, and they left on Sunday, and we hung around till Monday. And it's beginning a bike week down there, so Wasn't really a lot of activity at the campground, but they have some strict rules about motorcycles, so other folks might go somewhere else. But it was beautiful weather down there, and great sunrises in the evening, and made it back okay. Nothing. The only eventful thing was a lizard, and I forgot the name of it, but this lizard rode on our rear bumper all the way from Myrtle Beach to our house. I found him actually when we were filling up gas at exit 5 there at Campobello, where we get off the interstate and cut over to 25 and go that way. And he was sitting on the bumper, and I said, well, doggone it. So I caught him in a cup, and my wife held on to him, and she read up about him, and we actually have to return him to Myrtle Beach. He will not live in this climate. He's not a chameleon. He's a different kind of lizard. And we have a friend that's visiting here that lives in Charleston. So when she goes back on Wednesday, she's going to return the lizard to the coast, so he won't die a horrible death up here in the freezing weather that's coming up here. So let's get started with WA4LLR in the group, W4MEC.
W4MEC and the group, WA4LLR. Well, good morning, Charlie, and everybody on the net. Apologize, but I'm still running 25 watts, so I'm sure some of you are going to have trouble hearing me. Everybody's sounding good up here, though. And fine business on the hobo lizard, and that's big of you to plan for his return to a warmer clime. Anyway, 51 degrees, beautiful fall day up here in eastern Yancey County, and looks like it's going to be nice for a little while before it starts to turn cool. But I'm enjoying it as these final days of warm weather make their appearance. Anyway, we'll keep the ball rolling and go down to Shelby. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR in the group, N4LQ. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm running the DX-40 here, which is putting out a massive 4 watts of output into the AL-1200 and kicking up to about 900 PEP. So the meters should be swinging there, but anyway, hope it sounds okay. D104 mic and so forth. And that's interesting about the lizard, and I would say that he probably was tired of the crime and debauchery at Myrtle Beach, and then of course what George had told him about how bad it was. He decided to get out of town, and he just went a little bit too far. He should have jumped off when he got out in the country there somewhere in South Carolina. So too bad you're taking him back. Maybe you can take him somewhere else. Anyway, it's 61 here, supposed to be about 80 degrees today and sunny, and looking forward to lunch on Thursday. Over to you, John, KZ4B, N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ in the group. This is KZ4 Bravo. Fine business, Steve. Boy, there's zero switching power supply noise this morning. I don't understand it, but I'm tickled to death. I don't know where it went, but anyway, I can hear, and therefore I am on the air. But my prolonged absence during the week is due to deafness. That switching power supply shows up and right on this frequency, and I just can't hear. So don't know what's wrong today, but it's a good thing. Speaking of crime and debauchery, my son and daughter-in-law and their 2 kids just moved from Cornelius to Myrtle Beach, and the grandkids aged 8 and 12 are going to new schools. They're very tickled so far. I hope things work out for them. So So the lizard's going in the right direction, and my kids and grandkids are going in the wrong direction. So on that note, I'll pass it on over. Take it away, buddy. WB4ARK in the group, KZ4B, over.
KZ4B, WB4ARK. Weather here is about the same, I guess, as everybody else. Clear. No clouds, 64 degrees. And it was rather chilly this morning. The very first part of the morning. And we're on a different ART-13 this morning. We're on my unit. The Charlie unit has made its way downstairs and is ready to be loaded, I guess, if Charlie is going to make the trip to the luncheon on Thursday. And if he does, I hope he can come a little early so that we can discuss some of the issues with the transmitter. Let's see. I've got a whole page of issues. So with that, we'll turn it over to WB4NKL. Take it away, Cliff. WB4ARK.
Yeah, WB4ARK is WB4NKL. A good copy on everybody so far, and heard Atlanta stations, heard down towards Atlanta. Ray was sounding real good this morning, so I think the band's still a little long. 53 degrees here, and supposed to be up in the 80s, or low 80s, but then it's looking at the forecast, and it goes downhill by the weekend. I think high Sunday's like 59 degrees, so I guess it's that time of year. We'll try to make the luncheon. Chuck, N4IYQ's coming down and hitch a ride with him, so won't be around Thursday. We'll have to leave too early to get on the air, but should be at the luncheon there Thursday. It'll be good to see everybody. Go ahead, Gary. K3OS, WB4NKL.
Cliff, WB4NKL, and a group from K3OS. On beautiful Lake Wobegon this morning. The sun is out over the lake here, and very pretty, and very warm temperatures as well. Everybody's sounding good. Conditions so far have been very, very good. And Dave, your 25 watts is doing fine over here. Running the Gonset twins this morning, and it's got a very generous S meter. Everybody's running 10 over at least. I like it. I really do. I won't hold it too long. Let me turn it over to George. K4GDN, K3OS.
K3OS and the group, this is K4GDN. And I'm copying everybody fairly well here this morning. I am running the Valiant. This is the Valiant that's looking for a new home. And putting out a little over 100 watts into the center-fed dipole. Everybody's coming in here fairly well. There is some QSB, and it's a little fast, but it's not all that deep. And I guess, John, I hope your folks get into a decent school down here. We put our grandkids, our kids put the grandkids into a private Christian school. Schools down here don't score that highly, unfortunately. Depends on what area you're in to some extent. When you say Myrtle Beach, I'm assuming that's what you mean, Myrtle Beach, not North Myrtle or Merrill's Inlet or any of those. But at any rate, we're looking forward to getting away from this place eventually. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brian, I believe, KN4R and the group K4GDN.
Okay, George, very good. Okay. Hold on, I just lost my meter's not for some reason, but anyway, K4GDN in the group, KN4R. My watt meter has a 9-volt battery in it, and it just decided to die right then. But I
I'm on the GRC 165, the same rig that gave me problems during the last net. So I got it settled down. It was just operator error and rushing and all that. So everybody sounds good. We have some really, really deep QSB this morning. 65 degrees here in beautiful Sherrills Ford, going to 81. It's going to be antenna day for me today, and looking forward to the luncheon on Thursday. Let's see, Steve, the DX-40 and the big amp sounds terrific. And Gary, your Gods at Twins also sounds terrific. And George, you're stronger than you normally are here as well. So things are good. So over to you, Stan, W4KR in the group, KN4R.
Oh, all right, Brian, KN4R. Any old friends, W4KR. Well, first of all, good morning, everybody. Dave, glad to hear you. Hope you're chugging along. Sound pretty chipper. Glad to hear that. Temperature here is about 68 this morning. I'm running the Viking 2 and the 75A2. I got to get into the 75A2 again. It's starting to fuss at me a little bit until it's running for about an hour, and then it calms down. Got something microphonic in there, I guess. I think we got a tube near the front end that's a little bit on the microphonic side. It takes it a while to settle down. Anyway, had spent most of yesterday and early this morning diddling with this new HRO toy, and it's coming along. I still don't really have it identified. I'm getting closer, but I'm not there yet. But we'll get there. Somewhere in the mid to latter 30s, so pretty sure. Anyway, with that, Glenn, here it comes. Oops, what's going on? Something going on here. I don't know what it is. And for AK in the group, W4KR.
Okay, neighbor, W4KR. In the old friends group, this is November 4 Alpha Kilo. Over here at sunset this morning, temperature is 65 degrees. They say the high is going to about 81. I'm embarrassed to tell you this morning I had to get up. I got up a little late, so I had to fire up a rig that hopefully won't drift. This is my first opportunity of using my little Icon 7300 on AM, and I'm driving an ALS 600 amp, so I'm probably peaking about 100 watts somewhere in there. So I don't have a single tube in this lineup this morning, fellas, so I'm sorry. I apologize. And Charlie, I'm curious, on the 7200 that you picked up for me, did a microphone come with it, and did he send a manual? If so, I'll start looking for some of those items. George, good morning to you. Copying you at 5x6 this morning from Myrtle Beach. And Steve, the DX-40 sounds great. I would not have known you on control carrier. Sounds good. And Ray, good to hear you. Wonder when you're coming through Pickens, I'd like to have lunch with you, so keep me posted. W4VRO and 4AK.
And 4AK. In the net, W4VRO. Good morning to all. Glenn, I'll be in the Pickens area October 17, 18. And I've got a lot of things to get done, but if you've got some time, we'll make a way to get together for lunch or something. That would be great. Your signal is a little lighter than usual this morning, Glenn. I think it's conditions. Try to find a place to plug a couple of tubes into that lineup. Copying everyone except Gary, not 100%, and George, not 100%. John, KZ4B, you're not only hearing now, but you're being heard. heard you tuning up about 10 minutes before net time, and you were S9, far stronger than any time I've ever heard you at this location. So I hope that's an indication of the way things will be. I've had difficulty copying you for quite a long time. I'm sure a lot of it's conditions. The band's quiet and propagation is long with QSB. Charlie, good note on the lizard. Hope you can keep him well and happy, and perhaps make a home for him. Now, Dave, your signal is lighter than usual, copying most of you, but that's unusual for you. You're usually very strong. Steve, DX-40 sounds good. And let's see, Cliff, you're stronger than usual. Really good signal this morning. Buddy, you're stronger than usual too. Well, you're always strong. You're always a really good signal, so nearly always. And Brian, you're stronger than usual. We have good conditions this morning. And Jimmy, good signal. Hello to Lee and Alan. You're booming in here. Good morning to all. Over to you, Jimmy. K4JAL and the group W4VRO.
W4VRO, K4JAL. Well, I'm hearing everybody, even George, and things are going well. Stan, since you're down on Lake Wobegon, say hello to Garrison Keeler for me. And Glenn, your little solid state rice boxes are 10 over up here in Burnsville. I'm rice boxing today also, and hope I'm heard. So over to Lee, K4VWD, K4JAL.
Okay, Jimmy, thank you. K4JAL, K4VWD. Well, it's 66 degrees and the sun's shining here in Greenville today. And I am blowing it out today with 35 watts of carrier, according to my bird watt meter. And Cliff, I sure am glad Chuck's bringing you to the lunch. I am looking forward to that. And Buddy, I was listening Sunday when you mentioned you had some hummingbirds. I think you said you had 3. Well, I have seen one this morning, and I think I've just got one, but every now and then I see 2, but I think it's one just passing through. And Dave, I'm copying you just fine here in Greenville with your 25 watts. And Steve, the DX-40 sounds good, and I guess you're going to bring the AF-68 to the luncheon Thursday. And George, your Valiant sounds good. You were 100% copy at the first, but there was some QSB that got you right at the very end of your transmission and went all the way to 0. So, Charlie, and I guess you're going to be at the lunch, and maybe you want me to bring this amplifier. You might comment on that. So, Alan, down to you. M4OZI in the group, K4VWD.
Okay then, Lee. K4VWD in the group, N4OZI. A little bit of not great conditions today. Got a fairly good copy on you guys, but not great. Charlie, sorry, you took a fade there when you were calling out the calls, and I thought you called my name, but I wasn't sure. But that's okay. I like being at the caboose. Usually the faraway stations, it's better to be at the caboose anyway, because you end up doubling with somebody at the beginning and they never hear you. So we'll be at the caboose. We kind of like it down here at the end. Not much going on. Finish up recapping the 200B. Hope to get it back in the shack. I'm working on getting it back in its cabinet now. That was quite a job getting that thing recapped, but it is now done. Seems to work real well. Seems to be happy. So that's 1 down and 2 to go. So I got two more of these transmitters to recap, and they're not easy. but I'm happy that this one's recapped. It seems like it's doing real well. I'm going to make this my one and done, Charlie, because conditions just aren't great today. So by the time you come back around to me, probably will be really faded out. So appreciate you calling that. And if you're going to hang on to that lizard and for a little while before it gets its trip back to Myrtle Beach, you got to give them a name. Wonder what you're going to name them. And we'll appreciate you calling that. W4MEC to take it. N4OZI.
W4UOC.
Okay, N4OZI, Alan, W4MEC, and I do acknowledge W4UOC. Okay, Alan, good to talk to you. We'll see you next time, and probably not going to name them, so okay. Let's turn it down to W4UOC, and when you're done, bring it back to me. You're the new tail-end Charlie. W4MEC in the old friends net.
W4MEC, W4UOC. Charlie, thanks for letting me in. I just got off the 3725 group, and I looked on the screen, and I saw you guys here, so I thought I'd say hello, especially to Lee, who I think I've known longer than anybody else in here. But signals are all pretty good. And thanks for letting me in. I wanted also to get Alan off the bottom of the list because his feelings get hurt. So I want to take care of that. Yeah, good signals all the way around. Lee, I wanted to mention that you were 20 over S9 briefly. You're always readable, but I want you to know that your 35 watts was doing pretty well here to Lake Arrowhead, near Waleska, Georgia. Back to you, Charlie, W4MEC, W4UOC.
Okay, W4UOC and the old friends, W4MEC. Do we have any other check-ins that would like to join us for round number 2 coming out?
Charlie, this is Lee. I just want to say hello to Tom. Good to hear you, Tom.
Good to hear you too. Go ahead, Charlie.
Okay, real good. It's W4MEC and the old friends. Didn't get any check-ins there, so I'll continue on. And good round there. George was a little light, but Q5. Everybody else is booming in. You're doing great, Dave, with 25 watts. John, your noise. What I would do is when you get a chance, when that noise is there, get out and walk around the neighborhood and see if you can find somebody's RV and see if it's plugged in, because what you describe is exactly what I get here from my RV. It's temperature dependent. Right now, my RV is plugged in and I can see it down the band about 2 kilohertz. I can see the pip. And as the day warms up, it moves up towards 3715. Of course, it is a harmonic and goes all the way down into the hundreds of kilohertz range, and where it's booming. And but up here, it will slowly drift into 3715 at around 78 to 80 degrees. And as it warms up, it'll pass and go up frequency. So, but I would look around for an RV within 4 or 5 houses of your location, a boat or something like that, and I bet you $1 to donut there is a charger plugged into it that's causing you the problem, especially if it moves around on you. Sometimes it's on frequency, sometimes it's not. So, okay, well, buddy, it sounds like I don't need to bring a notebook. You're going to be bringing me a list, so if I need to bring a notebook, let me know, and I'll write everything down on that thing. So, anyway, we got a pretty long list for Tuesday here, so let's go back around. WA4LLR in the group, W4MEC.
All righty. W4MEC in the group, WA4LLR, 16 check-in. That's mighty fine for Tuesday morning. Let's see, Sunday we had 17. So the participation is increasing. That's wonderful. Good copy on everybody but George. George was real light up here, and I'm sure I'm not even being heard by him. So anyhow, everybody else is doing a great job this way. Alan, Gary, the Geyser twins sound great. And Brian, the GRC 165 is doing good for you. Glenn, don't have any tubes in my lineup either. I apologize. All I've got is this TS-2000. So hopefully we can change that before too long. And Lee, as has been said, the 35 watts is doing a great job. Good morning to Tom, if he can possibly hear me. Let's see, space weather today, sunspot count 146, solar flux index 158, the K index is 1.33, so the band's pretty stable. A few items from this day in history. On this day in 1990, Germany was reunited under Helmut Kohl and Mikhail Gorbachev. On this day in 1226, St. Francis of Assisi passed away. On this day in 1995, O.J. Simpson was found not guilty in the murder of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman. On this day in 1961, the Dick Van Dyke Show premiered on CBS. And on this day in 1960, Andy Griffith debuted. One of my favorite shows of all time. On this day in 1952, the British carried out their first atomic weapon test. And let's see what else here. On this day in 1863, President Lincoln declared Thanksgiving a national holiday. On this day in 1942, Germany conducted their first successful V-2 rocket test. So there you go. Here we go, Steve. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, N4LQ. All right. Well, very interesting. That was a good round. 16 check-ins. And almost all boat anchors except for one Renegade. Glenn, you ought to just lie about it and say you're running a some kind of weird AM rig with tubes in it. And anyway, it sounds okay. We'll let you off the hook. I would like for somebody to define the difference between so-called control carrier as compared to screen modulation. I can't find anybody that seems to know the difference. Looking on Mr. Google, it all runs together, and it seems like control carrier is screen modulation, or vice versa, because the modulation is controlling the carrier. Whatever. It's a low-level modulation, and people talk about Drakes and how bad the Drakes sound. And I've noticed that mostly with the separates, the Drake T4X R4 type combination, and they modulate the driver tube, and then the driver tube modulates the final amplifier, and the result is kind of a low percentage of modulation. The transceiver is better; it modulates the final. So I don't know. I think if you do it right, it sounds okay. So I don't know, but I just wondered if anybody has a definition between those two methods. And yeah, Lee, I will bring the AF68. And Gary and Brian, it's your responsibility to remind me before I forget. When you get here, say, hey, if you got that AF60A in the trunk, just to be sure. So on over we go to John over there on the lake, KZ4B and 4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ in the group. This is KZ4 Bravo. Fine business, Steve. The band must be long today because I heard George for the first time in a long time. Of course, the noise hurts the situation. But Steve, you're usually the strongest, and you're pretty weak right now. And so things, and Lee's usually booming in here, and Lee is not real strong. So I'm thinking the band is long. Charlie, I have a MFJ Yagi that operates on the aircraft AM band that I use for tracking power line noise, and it zeroed in on my next door neighbor's solar setup. My next door neighbor has solar panels on his roof, and he also has battery backup, and it zeroed in on the charger for the battery backup. It's got lithium-ion batteries, but for some reason this morning it's not working, so I assume that the batteries didn't get discharged last night, therefore they don't need charging this morning. That's all I can figure. But the noise was coming definitely based on that Yagi from my next door neighbor's house. And so I know the source. I haven't been able to get up with my neighbor to see if we can do anything about mitigating the noise. I noticed that when it was terrible here on the 160 and this 80 meter band, that I could hear nothing on the broadcast band. So I'm guessing, and this is strictly a guess, that have filtering or ferrite beads that are optimum for the broadcast band, but doesn't do anything for the shortwave bands just above it. I need a Type 31 mix to quieten things down here, but I don't know what he has, if anything. Unfortunately, the interconnect wiring is in PVC conduit, not EMT or rigid, so there's no shielding for any of the cable. But the Yagi zeroed right in on the plastic box that encloses the charger for those lithium-ion batteries. So, and the thing has been installed for about a year, and for the longest time I heard no noise that I could zero in, but the last couple of weeks it's been giving me a fit. So I don't know what the deal is. Let's see, I guess that's about it. Brian, I can't make a comment. I can't remember if I was at the Rock Hill Ham Fest last year or if it was a year before last. But I bought a real nice Hallicrafter speaker from you, the one that has the H on the front. That was a deluxe model to go with the SX41, and it was basically manufactured during and just right at the end of World War II. And it has unbelievably good fidelity, and I just got it set up and in service and really enjoying that. But refresh my memory, did I buy it from you last year, or was it the year before last? So if you would comment on that. So I will now pass it on. So Buddy, take it away if you can hear me. WB4ARK and the group KZ4B, over.
KZ4B, WB4ARK. Okay, John, perfect copy. And I would say that most likely the charger is operating today. I think most of those circuits do replenish the batteries at every conceivable moment that they can. So when the sun comes up, they're in service. I know what you're talking about the noise. I hope you can get that taken care of. And Lee, yes, I did mention about the hummingbirds. We still have about 3 or 4 that are trying to safeguard their stash of liquid, and so they're fighting to keep it in their backyard, so to speak. Tom, your signal is pretty strong here in Lake Wiley, and no problems copying you, but Dave, for the first time I had to put on my headphones to copy your signal. It was at best almost not readable at times. It had some QSB on it, and it also had a very low level, which I think adds to the QSB. And Ray, your signal is pretty strong also. Thanks for the comment on my unit here. This one seems to be putting out about the same amount of power that Charlie's did. I did remove my new tube from your unit and reinstalled your older tube. So I will bring a printout of all of the, or at least 99% of all of the corrections that I made to the unit, so you can make notes on it if you like. And let's see, I think that's about it. I'm going to say 73. We've got a pretty large group here today, and thanks for doing the net. Glad to hear you're back, and I would build a terrarium for that lizard, put him in there and keep him till you go back next spring. Give him a layover here in the upstate. And I don't know what you would feed him, but maybe you could find something. So with that, we'll turn it over to Cliff, and glad you're coming to the luncheon, Cliff, and all of the other ones that have mentioned that they're coming. So that's going to be a great turnout. So WB4 NKL, WB4 ARK.
WB4 ARK, WB4 NKL. Okay, buddy. Yeah, it'd be good to see everybody, and no ham fest for a while. I guess I'll go down to Lawrenceville. I've got a room down there for that. That's the last ham fest for me this year. I'm gonna say 73s and get out here and get to walking before it warms up anymore. It's supposed to get up to 80, but it's still down in about 60 right now, so get out and get to walk in before it gets to 80. 73s, and thanks for calling it, Charlie, and enjoyed it. Copied everybody 100% that go around. Go ahead, Gary. K3OS WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff. WB4NKL and the group K3OS. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here too. Say my 73s. I've got to go. Got an eye doctor appointment here this morning and then this afternoon. Speaking of antennas, I'm going to go help a guy get an antenna up, shoot some ropes up into the trees for him. And that'll be a nice, good, I think a really nice day to do that. Steve, I'm watching the S-meter wiggle, but it's not wiggling that much. When you're that strong, and you're over S9, it's wiggling, but not, not too much. Looking forward. I will be at lunch, and Steve, I'll see you around 10 o'clock, and Brian as well, I guess. So 73s for now. We'll catch everybody on Thursday for lunch. I've got to leave early enough, so I won't be here. So won't be here for the net. So over to George. Everybody have a great day. K4GDN, K3OS.
K3OS in the group. This is K4GDN. And copying everybody fairly well. Dave, you're weak, and Alan, you're very weak, and I didn't catch Tom at all. But everybody else is coming in pretty well today. And I don't know what to say about that. Anyway, the band seems to be kind of long. And Charlie with the lizard, I don't know. That's kind of strange. Anyhow, I'm going to say 73 on this round, and Charlie, thanks for calling the net. It's been a good one. Enjoyed it. Oh, and you mentioned the Drake audio. I've got the separate twins, and they do call it control carrier, and they do modulate the screen of the driver. But I haven't had a whole lot of problems with people complaining about the quality of it. It's just that with no carrier, it's just a little harder to copy sometimes. And I'll get it on here maybe in the next couple of weeks, and we'll see how it sounds. I kind of rotate around my rig. So with that, Brian, it's coming to you. 73, guys, and I'm sorry I'm going to miss the lunch. KN4R in the group, K4GDN.
KN4R, George, turn it over to you, W4MEC. Okay, George checked out. Brian must be gone. W4KR, W4MEC.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. W4MEC. W4KR. Yep, I held up there for Brian, but I guess he's carried away there for a little bit. George, good morning to you. Was able to copy it. Not great, but solid copy, George. They're getting it done here. Let's see, what else do we know? So temperatures. I took another peek outside at 68 right now. Looks like it's probably going to get up close to 80. Don't know. Gas prices. Gas prices are. I filled up yesterday after the trip up north. Filled up yesterday at $3.01 a gallon here locally. So it's jumping, continues to jump up and down. With that, I'm going to say good morning. Alan, we'll see you this afternoon. Guys, if you're come around 6:30, 7 o'clock up on 3885, the SAMRC net will be running. Alan's going to start the pre-net at about 6:30 and gather everybody up, and then at 7 o'clock they got some guy doing a net control job that doesn't really know what he's doing, but he tries. With that, Glenn, here it is, and take care. By the way, Glenn, when Ray comes, you all going for lunch. Love to join you. N4AK and the Old Friends Group, W4KR. See everybody Thursday.
Yeah, Roger. W4KR and the group, November 4 Alpha Kilo. Yeah, that would be fun, and I probably ought to get Boone, give him a buzz too, so we could have a mini eyeball hamfest. Lee, I talked to Grant yesterday. They seem to be doing okay. Had a pretty good long conversation with him. And Jimmy, thanks very much for the signal report on the all solid state rig this morning. And hello, Tom, retired from DuPont. It's been a while since I worked you. Good to hear you. And I might mention that between now and the 7th of October, parks on the air, somebody is activating Kings Mountain Park over there. So typically the people who do the POTA, they'll operate a little bit above 7190, probably 7193 to 7195, somewhere in there. And on 20 meters, they usually be around 14,285, 14,290. There's a lot of POTA up there. But so it's celebrating Kings Mountain Park. Excuse me. And if anybody is interested in keeping up with artificial intelligence, October 8 issue of Time magazine should be on the newsstand, and it'll probably have a picture of Musk on there, Elon. And so he's doing a lot with artificial intelligence. And he started a company called Neuralink. Neuro like neurological, N-E-U-R-O, Neuralink. He already has FDA approval to implant chips in the brain. And his first, what he's trying to do is for people, let's say, that have Lou Gehrig's disease, instead of having to have that thing in the mouth to punch computer keys, that a person with ALS will be able to think, and it will activate a computer so he can communicate through the computer. And of course then it jumps to a fighter pilot just thinks about shooting and he can shoot. So it's going to be interesting anyway. So much for that. And Charlie, did you take some notes about the 7200? I'm looking, does it have a mic and a manual? So, Ray, down to you. W4VRO, N4AK.
N4AK and the net, W4VRO. Very good, Glenn. Well, when that process is reversed, then someone will be able to tell someone else's brain what to think. Sounds exciting. Glenn, get your pencil. October the 17th, I'll be on my way there. If I can leave early enough, I could meet you for lunch. So I don't know when I can get away at the moment, but once I am en route, let me text you early to mid-morning, and at that time I can give you an arrival time. It may be too late for lunch, but we'll see how that goes. And then Wednesday, I probably cannot meet with you Wednesday. Thursday, if you wanted to have a fairly early lunch, or get a snack at the convenience store just east of you there on Highway 11 at their little lunch counter. That's a possibility too. I'll be heading back that day and need to get a fairly early start, or not a late start at least. But those 2 days are possibilities. Tuesday 17th, I'll be in Pickens County all day the 18th, but really tied up all day. And then early morning or sometime during the morning of the 19th. So let's try to work it out. That would be great. And Stan, good if you could join us, and Boone and anybody else we can get. Buddy, thank you for the signal report if you're still listening. And Tom, good morning to you. Thank you for checking in with us. Very strong signal from Lake Arrowhead. And hope you'll check in with us often. Charlie, thank you for calling in. It's been a good one. Very, very long list. So, Jimmy, to you, and 73 to all. Thanks, Charlie, for calling in. And I'll be in touch, Glenn. K4JAL in the group, W4VRO clear.
W4VRO, K4JAL. Well, goodbye to all you guys, Ray and the rest of you that left. Good deal. Steve, you're interested in information on controlled carrier modulation. M4QH put a blurb on the net about the history of this phenomena. I imagine he might know something about the theory also. That's about all I know, so I'll say 7-3 for the day and give it over K4BWD, K4JAL.
Okay, Jimmy. Very good. K4JAL, K4BWD. Well, 7:30 to you. And Charlie, I have about 3 questions. One, on the lizard. Wonder how long you gonna have to keep it, and will it stay alive that length of time, or have you figured out a way to feed it? I wonder about that, and I wish, I hope you could grab your microphone. I got 2 questions. One, I think Alan OZI signed out, but I'm not sure. And the other one is, do you want me to bring the amplifier to luncheon Thursday? If you will, please let me know now, and I'll stand by.
Yeah, bring the amp.
Okay, I'll bring the amplifier. And let's see. Tom, it's sure good to see you, hear you. You got a great signal, and everything's fine here, but my power's fallen off from 35 watts to about 34 watts. I'm sure nobody could tell the difference. So, that nobody forget we got a net Thursday morning. Thursday morning, this same frequency, 9 o'clock. So, I think Alan's gone, so I'm going to turn it over to Tom. W4UOC in the group, K4VWD.
Okay, Lee, good to hear you. Your signal's not as strong as it was before, but perfectly readable. You're 35 or 34 watts. I couldn't tell the difference. I'm going to have to say 73s. I'm involved in a security and, well, it's a neighborhood. There's about, I'm going to guess there's about 3,000 people in Lake Arrowhead. It's kind of unincorporated Waleska, Georgia. It's a POA, Property Owners Association, and I'm on their security committee. So I have a conference call at 10 o'clock, so I'm going to have to pull the plugs. Thanks for the signal report. I'm cheating. I don't have any old gear on. Well, yes, I do. I'm running a Flex 6400M. It's all radio in one box, and I'm using, however, a vintage Collins 30L1 amplifier. I'm cranking out, gosh, it says I'm cranking out 160 watts today. I hope that's not too much. This thing is 572Bs in it, and I think it can handle the current. I'm going to say 73s. Charlie, thank you for letting me check in. I kind of keep an eye on the screen on Thursdays and Tuesdays and various days that you're on. I can see you, so I try to check in. Again, thank you for letting me get in. I'm not very regular, but physically I'm very regular. Over to you, Charlie. Thanks for letting me in. W4DRO, W4UOC.
Okay, Tom, W4UOC in the group. W4, let me see. Real quick here. Glenn, yes, manual, brand new in the bag microphone, and Wade also included a thumb drive with some kind of information on it. I don't know what it is, but he's got a thumb drive with a bunch of data, so I'll get that to you. Maybe if I can meet you on my way back from the lunch at the Highway 11 there, at that spot where Duke Power's got that cutout on 25 and Highway 11 on the way back, and we'll talk about that and arrange a time. Let's see, what else I got? Yes, Lee, bring the amp, please, and I would also be interested in maybe bringing Lee and myself to that lunch over there in Pickens. We probably can't do Thursday because Lee runs the net on Thursday, but we might be able to do it Tuesday or Wednesday. Let's see, what else do I got here? Control carrier modulation. I was always under the assumption that if the modulation was applied to the control grid of the final or the base of the collector of the final, base of the transistor on the final, it was control grid, but if anything else, it was either screen or plate. So that was my take on that. And John, if you can't get any satisfaction from your neighbor, the FCC's got a little rule that says, those devices will not cause any interference to licensed radio service, so you can stick the FCC on them. It'll take a while, but they will eventually send out a letter. So What do we feed lizards? Crickets. $2 and you get 12 little tiny crickets. They eat about 4 a day, 2 in the morning and 2 at night. So, and the lizard will be returning on Wednesday, hopefully, and released to the wilds of Charleston instead of Myrtle Beach. So, should be okay there. I forgot what it was. It's like a Venon or it's not a vole, but it's like a Venon. I don't know. So it's got a name, but anyway. Let's see. What else we got here? And that covered all my notes, I think. Yeah. I got all my notes there. So it's 10 o'clock, so we'll shut her down. We'll look for you fellas on Thursday morning, and those that can make that, and Thursday lunch at 11 a.m. at the Golden Corral. So thanks for everybody that's checked in. 7-3s for now, and we'll look for you later down the law. W4MEC shutting down the old Friends Net. Bye-bye.
Quick comment, Charlie. I went on the internet about the solar panel noise, and I don't know if it's true or not, but it said that the Obama administration FCC exempted solar panels from Part 97, so you can't go to the FCC to get any satisfaction if that information is correct. 7-3, thanks for calling the net. KZ4, be clear.
And Charlie, tentatively, let's plan on meeting at Highway 1125. I will take a 35-minute heads up. In other words, if you leave Spartanburg and give me a call, it takes me 35 minutes to get to that place, and I think you got my phone number. Thank you. W4MEC N4AK.
Okay, Glenn, we'll be in contact. N4AK, W4MEC.
Glenn, N4AK, W4VRO. Since some other people may be interested in the luncheon, it would probably be easier to work toward a sort of an early lunch, if possible, on Thursday. Let me look at my calendar.
11:30. We can meet at Tony's, or the restaurant that we used to meet in is back in business. It's called Southwest Grill. So we play that by ear.
And if that doesn't suit everybody, I'll try to work around any schedule. N4AK, W4VRO.
Roger, okay, N4AK.